Hello, everyone. This is Springfield General Hospital, eliminating medication mistakes. My name is Mauro Tijerina. I am a student at California Intercontinental University. This organizational change and development in management, Dr. Williams, and this is June 9th, 2019. So, the agenda for today, we'll talk about the overview of the problem at hand, the mutual engagement in a shared diagnostic. We'll talk about the change implementation process, the teams involved, the sequence implementation of new technology, and the key takeaways. Lastly, we will open the uh, for questions if need be. So let's begin. So the overview of problem, the trigger events. So errors in prescription, confusion, inadequate attention to the combination effects of medicine on patients, and other related errors kill close to 1 million patients per year in the U.S. This is what we refer to as the unfreeze stage. So we need to create something that can trigger uh, um, us into wanting to change or trigger the employees into wanting to change. It creates this kind of dissatisfaction with the status quo. And that's where we start our change process. Now, before we can even start, we need to employ mutual engagement and a shared diagnostic. Mutual engagement and shared diagnosis are vital in guiding change and shaping it. Mutual engagement helps overcome defensiveness and resistance. Moreover, a shared diagnostics builds on both a dissatisfaction with the status quo and a commitment to new behaviors. Just right off the bat, it is normal to have or to face resistance when you have change, as these habits that have been going on through time in your company have become or have turned into norms. And some of these habits might be negative habits, but because they have turned into norms, the employees don't see the bad things in it. Therefore, when you try to implement change, it is very difficult. Now, to overcome this, it is why we employ a mutual engagement and shared diagnosis or diagnostic. I'm sorry. You assign active roles. You give a voice to your employees, and thus this results in accountability, because these were when you're trying to create change and you are employing the help of everyone. It results in accountability because these were ideas from them and not from you. They were part of the ideas from the employees. So make sure we employ mutual engagement and a shared diagnostic. The change implementation process. So the change implementation process, make it a process driven change rather than a content driven change. Um, a content driven change was what originally was the demise of this change. Um, the the content driven was a programmatic change in which specific programs are used as the driver and centerpiece of implementation, which is what we did with this new program, which we adopted to try to eradicate the medical errors. We need to, or the appropriate way of implementing change should be through the process change, which is a change that seeks to create a context and environment in which employees at all levels of the organization engage in a collaborative way to achieve the strategic goals of the organization. So make sure we are aware of this, rather than, again, being a content driven change, make it a process driven change. It is more effective, and it does uh, create an environment conducive to the success of the change being implemented. Next, we create a task alignment. For example, before to get it going, I'm sorry, we can begin with a question. In this case, how can we eliminate medication errors in Springfield General Hospital? Task alignments are vital as they employ the insights of organizational development and a drive to produce outstanding performance. They redefine the roles, the responsibilities, and the relationships of the people involved in this change. Moreover, when you have a task alignment or when you employ or create a task alignment, employees are motivated um, and engage in behavioral change. And this builds commitment, which is essential to the change process. Teams. So when it comes to teams, we need to employ a cross-functional team engagement. So that is, we need to employ the input of all the departments in our business, the different departments across our business need to be involved in our quest to find a solution to the problem at hand. And by employing this type of approach, a cross-functional approach, again, you won't have a resistance as everyone was involved in the decision making, or in this case, in the change implementation process. They were given a voice and they were given active roles. And usually, based on literature, you will. It's normal to have resistance, to face resistance, and those that are giving you a resistance, you give them that active role or roles of leadership, and thus this results tends to result in commitment and also in accountability, because again, these were plans that were drafted by these individuals. So as a result, they don't want these plans to fail because they were given a voice, they were given active roles of leadership, and they were all made part of this change rather than being a dictated change. It was more of a democratic change. The sequence implementation of new technology. So the sequence implementation in this case, uh, which now that everybody's on board with why we need to change and why we need to employ this new program, uh, before we can employ it at a massive scale, we can use we can use pilot programs, or we can pilot this program. Sorry, which in this case is a computerized physician order entry system. From there, and we can pilot this program in certain clinics or certain departments, and from there we can gather the data, share the performance info, and make needed adjustment if need be. It is always easier to achieve change through piloting these programs or piloting programs or piloting change, as small victories bring about reliability, and the employees now start believing that the change is actually good because of the small victories you achieve through piloting these changes. um, Once you have already achieved these and made these changes and made the needed adjustments and the people are on board, we can go back to Lewin's theory model, where his last stage refers to the refreezing of the new patterns of behaviors into the new status quo. The key takeaways, well, we spoke about the overview of the problem. We talked about the importance of mutual engagement and a shared diagnostic. We elaborated on the change implementation process. We talked about the teams involved and why it's essential to get everyone involved. Um, and we spoke about the sequence implementation of new technology. Well, guys, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know on the box below, or as soon as I upload this clip to our Unit 3 assignment. Again, thank you so much. And you guys have an awesome, awesome day.